Good afternoon, everybody. This is a significant occasion for the Fire Station Artist Studios. It's been a long time coming, but it's here at last. And a lot of people have done hard work to get it here. Significantly, in 1993, this institution here, the organisation, the Fire Station Artist Studios, was actually established. And the same year, we got a Minister for the Arts in 1993. I think that's very significant. So it is my pleasure and honour to welcome here today the President of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins. I would also like to welcome the Lord Mayor of Dublin, Councillor Christy Burke. So now may I invite President Higgins to say a few words.
Well, I couldn't call it Tracy Foster made it on which you mark up this called Kid Europe t-shirt. Don't be the feather all the way in the car, on a I'm absolutely delighted to be here on this celebratory occasion. May I say I think that it's wonderful that the Lord Mayor whom I met the other evening at the Amphitheatre is taking such an interest in the arts, and I commend him for that, of course, and I'm delighted to see the Minister of State for Board Affairs and Development, of course, to hear more in myself and others, and any other. You'll know if you're notable. It's a pleasure to be here, and I thank you for reminding me of those years. I have to say, before I say my few words, that in 1993, if there was a lesson in the establishment of the Department of Arts, Culture and Engagement, it was that I was preceded by some wonderful work by Kieran Benson, which had been there since 1979 on the whole question of community of the arts and so forth. So, may I begin by saying that I'm so pleased to have been asked by Claudia Kenny to come here. May I thank you for the generous welcome. There may mark as we feel devoted. It's a very important occasion, the expansion of an innovative and inspiring cultural space. And I think that Margaret in Russian and Venus student, Tasha Kura Venus in Monaco, August, how long can you? I think that not only in relation to the studio this year, 21 years is a long time. I can't say I didn't feel it passing. I remember then very well, I opened some artist accommodation in Cork actually. I think it was around 1996. I visited the sculpture factory down there and the others. Some people said to me one time about all this money that was getting spent on the arts. It was all going to create white elephants. But happily, there's complete demand for all the facilities that were provided. And to encourage the Minister for State, it was 132 million altogether. So every penny was very, very well spent. I think that if you added in a few more areas, then it came to about 147. That time we were assisted by the European Union. We triggered the 75% grant with 25% local allocation, and then it was private sector 50% and so on. But in a way, there's a kind of a lesson in it, and that is that if you have the opportunity, you should take it in relation to leaving a legacy of good facilities that will help communities. So this year then the studios are celebrating their 21st anniversary. And as I have said in Irish, there is so much to celebrate. The talented artists who have resided in here, who have visited, who have been supported by this space since it was establishment, include such names as Alice Mann, Sean Higgins, and Patrick Graham. Very important work. And not only did those gifted artists benefit from the studios, but I believe, and relation to what I have been saying already, the Irish public came. And I think for those concepts and characters to life, to build memorable imagery, whether through words or music or visual art. The need for a quiet place for creativity and for formation of one's artistic instinct brought to delivery, a space where ideas can take hold and incubate and be brought to fruition is an extremely important one. And it was a recognition of that need which led to the reimagining of this former fire station and the crafting of a living and working space for not only Irish artists, but also those who came here from abroad to explore and to develop their creative talents in a spirit of community and togetherness. And a spirit of togetherness that wasn't intimidating by being competitive or destructive in relation to negative feelings in relation to art. I also think as well we were coming out that time, 20 years ago, 21 years ago, from a time where people felt that there was something wonderful about artists being poor. It is not a necessary condition for the finest art to be poor or to be insecure. I should tell you, less people want to revise the history too badly. I remember one of the reasons when before I became minister in 1993, in the 1980s, it wasn't unusual for me to get messages from poets, some of them might really remember, to say to come because the electric is being cut off. And they were again very significant concert pianists who needed the money sent in advance to be able to pay for the train. And when they came, they stayed not just for the performance, but for a few days afterwards as well to build up their nutrition. And there's no point in reimagining that that wasn't the case. And there was nothing glorious about it. It was just wonderful now that in fact we have spent 21 years here having such a wonderful recognition of what in fact helps and what is appropriate. I think the creation of cultural spaces that allow for experimentation but also diversity and which provide the breathing space to pause and think and act is a very essential infrastructure for all art. And I think that as well as that, I do believe I keep talking I've in a number of speeches spoken about the models that have descended upon us and tend to be imposed upon us, is that artists are always ahead in recognizing the disordered nature of the everyday or the inevitabilities that are wrongly taken for granted. And I think that they can address the confused complexity of the human psyche in conception and design and formation. And I think that to have time and space to do that here is wonderful. I think when people are using words, remember, we were just coming out, I think, of the abuse of the word community 21 years ago. Everything was community. It was European community. It was community action. It was community this. To the point at which the word almost couldn't be used validity for a while. But of course, we all know what community is. It is solidarity and sharing and being able to share vulnerabilities. We're now actually there's a new word that's flying around, and that's the word creativity. Sometimes it's called innovation if you're in economic circles. But creativity was a big debate. I remember one of the newspapers writing about some of my own projects. The president, I was then the minister. The minister is talking about every child being creative, when we all know that there are some people without an ounce of creativity. That was around that time when we were providing facilities. And then the other part of it was around the time when people would say about piano lessons, the piano will stand to everyone would have access to music or to painting or to other things like that. So none of this is important, I'm saying it's no more than women's rights or anything else, none of this fell from the sky or I'm so delighted to see on two. Now, I think that creativity what we mean about it is that yes, there is such a thing as genius and it expresses itself, and yes, there is such a thing as excellence, but you don't have to decide that it is for the few, it is for everyone. And I think that I often said that if every child had the opportunity to have access to a music instrument, and if every child was able to swim, and if every child was able to read, what a wonderful preparation it is for participation in society. I think that it's also in spaces like this to allow artists the freedom. Freedom doesn't mean anything unless you're really free in both a positive and negative sense to choose, and to choose in a way that from the legacy that is in your mind, but also imaginatively into the future. And discussing creativity and culture and the economy and the connection between them has to be part of a democratic discourse. And there's nothing enormously abstract about it. It is about the fact that everyone is capable of appreciating beauty as they see it, but also experiencing a sensory sense of beauty as they want. I think that that's an important debate. Sometimes nowadays, when people say about the creative industries, that's fascinating, because the only area that didn't go into recession is about 12% growth rate higher than every other sector of the global economy. And sometimes after people have in fact imagined that we could grow rich by selling houses to each other, and as the bubble falls apart, people say, well, maybe there's something around this creative industry, we'll rattle that back. But it's more important than that. Creativity and culture is about rights. It's about the right to be able to participate fully, whether you're employed or unemployed, or whatever your income is, fully in your society. And that's why it is important that you have public libraries, that you have public spaces, and why it's important for people in these circumstances we're now in to claim back the public world. I drew heavily on Kieran Vinson's work 21 years ago in the 1990s, and I saw very, very well that there was a choice to be made, there was a policy decision. These kind of things we do in relation to creativity and culture, they're not residuals, that you do it when you can afford it. I remember when we were creating jobs in the film industry, and people would say, and some of my political competitors would say, but that's only in the arts. And the idea was as well that there was something wrong about artists being able to walk down the street like everybody else without their clothes falling off them. The idea was almost as if you would see the strut of the artist. So the fact of the matter is, this is a space, the public world is important, artists make an enormous contribution to those who provide facilities for artists are very, very important. It's important of the infrastructure of citizenship. And I think as well, getting practical about it, because we had to show how value for money we were giving in those 4 or 5 years, and we had assessments done. And we found that, for example, there was a ratio of about 3 to 1. There was a better multiplier from the money that was spent in the arts and film and all the different areas than there was in other areas of activity. But I believe myself that where it has lasted best is where you in fact provided for the citizens, and the whole level goes up, be it in relation to music literacy, be it in relation to the visual arts, be it in relation to everything else. And then you actually almost casually take all of the benefits that come from the global riches that are associated with it. But you start in the right place, and that is very, very important. And I do think that's very important, because it is intergenerational as well. It's never, culture can never be a residual of the marketplace. And I think the space which facilities are provided that take in all the components of the society. Because it's very important as well that we be able, through arts and culture, to look at the transformation and the recrafting of the society that is necessary. I was speaking yesterday at my ethics party about the business. It's an incredible assumption to say that people of their nature are instinctively selfish, that they seek only to advance what is for themselves and so forth. This is like the old arguments as to whether a slave had a soul. It's very, very incredibly narrow view. It's also a view that is not based or supported by any study of any serious kind. The fact of the matter is, it's as old as anything else. We're entitled not just to exist, but we're entitled to play and to imagine and to live. And I think, therefore, these facilities here, insofar as they will provide an opportunity for the creation of life-affirming, caring, creative, reflective societies, are important. And it adds to the importance of libraries, performing venues, creative spaces, and while whatever the weather, people will be able to go and enjoy themselves together. I see these facilities as really infrastructure for flourishing society. And coming here to you today from a Creek now, our Focal Square, I want to say that it is a confirmation for me, whenever I meet people in this community, of the innate creativity, imagination and resourcefulness that lies at the heart of so many communities across the country. And in these studios, already for 21 years, the arts have been brought into the heart of everyday living. I think that they've been linked to a community and into the everyday, in a space that is the place of everyone. So I think that the other part about it is, I mentioned, and I'm finishing with this, I remember art space in Galway as well, and the arguments about insecurity. No more than poverty not being essential for great art, insecurity isn't necessary either to make a start. And I think that to be free, to be able to concentrate and focus on what it is that one wants to do. And the other part of that is not to have to make a product that will validate what it is you're trying, but be able to say that it has contributed to your formation. It means you're not gaining today or tomorrow, but through a career that will be delivered in time to future generations. Are they conscious, as I'm speaking as well, that we lost was a pioneer in creating art. And of course, among the people like John Shears. But that was a long time ago, in cold times for the art, and people like John made a great contribution. The security of the facility here will free artists to make their contribution that will last into the future. And I want to congratulate all those who've been involved over the 21 years, and to say what a proud testimony to the success of the Fire Station Artist Studios is there already. I commend you for that. So we've got rock agus plan an town each year. Nilag is that we have accommodate 30 Júnta ar fólas na Júnta each year. Agus gan níl an hátías at the Twitter a heol to them cheer as a cúpla butter roll. Gan naili give the lead in the hand done agus got that to make them haka listen a harsh and wisha. It's been such a great pleasure to be invited here, and I wish you every success and great satisfaction in the future.
President Higgins. A lot of it rings true for, I'd say, the majority of the crowd here who are artists or working within the artistic community. But I'd also like to take this opportunity to stick to protocol a bit better than we managed earlier on and welcome our Lord Mayor of Dublin, Christy Burke. Councillor Christy Burke. Joe Costello didn't quite get his formal announcement and he's gone now, so unfortunately I can't rectify that. But I wanted to just say that today really is an important day for Fire Station Artist Studios and kind of remind you all what Fire Station, simply what we do here, is we support professional visual artists. We believe, just as President Higgins outlined there, we believe in the value of artists and the contribution they make to our, most importantly to our society, and as is always talked about, our economy, but most importantly to our society. By its very nature, as we've just heard now, the nature of a career as a professional artist is quite precarious. It's extremely financially challenging. It still is to this day. And Fire Station was set up 21 years ago to address that challenge. And primarily we do this by providing subsidised city centre residential studio spaces. For these past 21 years, no matter what the economic climate, the demand for these residential studios has been so much greater than the studios we can offer. So our rationale for increasing the number of studios we provide has always been clearly driven by the artist. So it's with this knowledge that I and all of us here at Fire Station are so happy to be standing here, because it's a clear need the artists have. It's not a need for Fire Station to grow and be a large organisation. It's a need that comes directly from the artists. And it is such an honour for us in this special day to have President Higgins, a true champion for artists, launching our new residential studios. But today is really also a very important opportunity for us to thank a lot of people. And I have to start with Dublin City Council. I'm trying to find faces. I think I saw Charlie Lowe over there. But really, Dublin City Council have supported us for 21 years. We have a 99-year lease at Peppercorn rent for this building that we're standing in, and that is from Dublin City Council. Our new building next door is a lease granted by Dublin City Council that's coterminous with this existing building. Dublin City Council also granted us community gain funding, which is 80% of the funding of the project next door. So a special thanks really has to go to Dublin City Council, but for me and the board and all of my team that I work with, it's Charlie Lowe and his team in the area manager office, and Adele and Blahmed especially, who've worked with me and the board over the past number of years and really made it possible. We really could not have been here today without your support. So thank you very, very much. Other funders we are very, very grateful to are Board Gosh and Glencourt Management. Without their support, we would not even have been eligible to apply for the community gain funding in the first instance. So they gave us that ability to actually, I suppose, have hope and confidence about the feasibility of this project. So thank you to both of them. And also, the list goes on, I might add. The floor that you are standing on today is very precious to us and was just finished this week. And that is thanks to the minor, I'm getting all flummoxed here now, all the different grants, but this is the minor capital grant from the Department of Arts, Heritage and the Gaeltacht. So thank you to them too. I know, we know, I'll just call them all out. We'll take it that you're all grateful at the end we clap. But last but not least, in the formal thank yous, is to the Arts Council. The Arts Council fund us annually so we can staff, manage, maintain, support and create within this organisation. So thank you for 21 years of that support. And there's a few other people closer to home that I want to thank and take this opportunity. And it's the NCCAP, a bit of a mouthful, but the North City Centre Community Action Project, which shares some of this space with us. And they have lived with us all through this period of 21 years. But not only that, Trina, the new director who I see over there, has been exceptionally helpful in the build-up to this event. But more importantly, with the building project next door, as we all know, it can drive people a bit crazy. And Trina has always made that a lot easier. Yes, I hear. The neighbours are coming to as well, if that was a neighbour.
Yes, it was.
It was. How did I guess your next underlined here? And thanks to our neighbours, especially our Killarney Avenue neighbours, who have been putting up with increased traffic, and we'll have another couple of weeks of it, I have to say. But look, we work together. Again, we've worked with them, and sometimes we have our times, but that's all part of it. Working together with all of our neighbours. And finally, I want to thank the team here at Fire Station. I nearly feel emotional saying it, but big thanks. I am actually feeling emotional. Jessica, Liz, John, Nick, you're an amazing skill set of individuals. Really, really. And you know why I'm emotional. And anyway, our board as well, they've walked on this journey with me and taught me a lot. So thank you very much. Different board members and senior mind wishing. And finally, I see Liz over there, we wanted to present a special gift of an artwork to President Higgins. It's an artwork by a former resident, Sarah Brown, and we'd like to present that now. opportunities to meet President Higgins and any of the rest of us. I'm sure we're not important at all. But yes, please stay around for a little while. And yes, thank you all for coming very much.